This is KI0AR. Does anyone need to use the repeater systems before I begin this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net? Please go ahead now. Calling the Colorado Astronomy Net, calling the Colorado Astronomy Net. This is KI0AR. My name is Ernest, and I'll be your net control for this evening's Colorado Astronomy Net. Just a reminder, the 3-minute timeout function is still in effect, so during long transmissions, please allow the repeater systems to reset themselves. Also, please use the word break for emergency or priority traffic. If there is any emergency or priority traffic, please go ahead now. Okay, nothing heard. This is KI0AR net control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. This net meets every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0200 Zulu, on Wednesdays to discuss topics of an astronomical nature, what's up in the night skies for the week, any other special events that may be of interest to the amateur radio astronomy enthusiasts around the world. Also, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count. I tally up the numbers and send them off to JPL at the end of each month. It counts as part of their outreach to the general public, of which we are a part. So all check-ins are definitely appreciated. I take check-ins several ways. If you have NetLogger, I will see your call popped up in the AIM window, and I'll get you logged in right away. I obviously take them over the air, which I'll do in a few minutes. And let's see, for those of you who are over on YouTube, I'll get you checked in over on YouTube as well. For those on YouTube, just if you do have a call sign, post that unless it's in your ID tag there. You can post your call sign. If it's something I can't translate, then if you post your name and your location. If you have a call sign, that makes it real easy because I just search it on QRZ and then everything pops up nicely. All right. And those on YouTube, definitely, like Captain Jack says, go ahead and be like #1 and hit that like button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed over there. I also take check-ins via email. If you get lost in the shuffle or something like that, can't get through, but you are out there listening, send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com. Let me know that you're out there listening. First name, location, call sign, and I'll get you on the list as well. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge the few check-ins I already have in just a sec. All right, I'll go ahead and acknowledge Jack, KE0VH, thanks for checking in tonight. Ken, NV7SS, thanks for checking in tonight. Doug, K0ATP, thanks for checking in tonight. Jay, AI7OF, thanks for checking in tonight. Mike, K05AOK, thanks for checking in tonight. And Roy, KI7PKL, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, don't see anybody else popping up in the AIM window or on YouTube, so I'll go ahead and open up the net for anyone wishing to check into tonight's net. Please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Okay, let's see. We got Ed, W6RDZ, thanks for checking in tonight. And Graham, MM1DEA, thanks for checking in tonight. And Caleb, KF0UPB, thanks for checking in tonight. Let's see. I'm just going to do a little change up here. We never get to talk to Graham over there in Scotland. I know it's late for you over there, Graham. It's, oh, what is it, 2 a.m. Or thereabouts. So what I would like to do, since we always seem to miss you there, Graham, when we go down the list, is to just say hey to you and see if you've got anything for the net that you'd like to share with us tonight. So you're the only one I'm going to let go out of order here. So MM1DEA, Graham over in Scotland, what have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Everyone here, right? Not a great deal from this. We have been really, really bad weather for the best part of 4 weeks now. And excuse me, my voice is disappearing. What is with the cold? But no, it's very quiet over here. The conditions are terrible for looking at anything up there. So, just one of these things for us. So, I'm yourself from everyone to you.
All right, Graham, I do appreciate you being out there tonight, and great to hear you on the radio. And I figured I'm just going to start doing that with you every time, because when we go down the list, you're usually gone by then. And understandably, it is definitely very, very late for you, or very, very early, as the case may be. Definitely want you to contribute to the net for sure there, Graham. And right now, I'll say thanks for checking in tonight in 73 to you. We got Moy on the list, N5ZIQ. Thanks for checking in tonight. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and get the net started with announcements. I publish a monthly astronomy newsletter via email and the World Wide Web. If you wish to subscribe to the email version of my newsletter, please send me an email to ki0ar@ki0ar.com and request to be put on the list. Or you may visit the website at www.ki0ar.com/astro.html. At the top of the web page is also a spot where you may submit your email address and get subscribed to the email version of the newsletter as well. If you don't want to remember all that, just Google my cosine, KI0AR. You'll find a whole bunch of links, including links to the web page and the newsletter. I also volunteer with a youth group called the International Association for Astronomical Studies. Always looking for new members. Freshman through senior high school age students interested in astronomy, amateur radio, high power rocketry, remote control aircraft flying, full scale aircraft construction, archaeoastronomy, radio astronomy, and balloon launch communications. I meet out in Strasbourg Friday evenings from 6 until 8 p.m. They also have a club call, which is K0AAS. So if you happen to hear them on the air, be sure to hop on there and say, hey. We also have a presence on Facebook as well under the same name, the International Association for Astronomical Studies. And let's see, what else? Also, the Colorado Astronomy Net also has a Facebook page. So if you have Facebook, be sure to hop on there and like us both. And let's see, the IAAS has some projects going on, and we're kind of looking for large satellite dishes. You know those old 6-foot, 7-foot satellite dishes they had back many, many years ago. I guess back in the 80s and 90s. Those backyard satellite dishes for receiving TV and things like that. If you happen to have one laying around, definitely let me know, and we'll see if we can pick that up for you from you if you're not using it for radio astronomy. We've got some radio astronomy projects that we kind of need, you know, some larger dishes for, and we would retrofit them to the frequencies that we would want to receive. So if you have those, I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh yes, on Mondays and Wednesdays, Jack, KE0VH, does his flight sim simulations on YouTube at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Always nice to ride along with him in his flights. He's practicing with a DC-3 simulation tonight, so he's listening in. We'll see what happens tomorrow with tomorrow's flight. He was flying over, over where were you flying from, Jack, yesterday? I know he flew over Barcelona over to Gibraltar there. So a neat little flight. He picks apart just interesting flights to fly around. So that's a neat thing about the Sims. Jack likes to play music and chat with everybody. So definitely hop on there. Again, Captain Jack Flight Sim. Captain Jack Flight, CAPNJACKFLTSIM on Mondays and Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And that's it for the announcements. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, another quick pause for check-ins, and then we'll get into the local astronomical news for the end of January. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice. Okay, I'll look for check-ins a little bit later on. Again, for those of you who are listening over on YouTube, be sure to give me a thumbs up or a like or whatever. Subscribe if you haven't already, and post your call sign for those I have not already acknowledged. I got you guys on there, so thanks for that. Or if you don't have a call sign, that's perfectly fine. A first name and a location. That way I can get you properly logged in. Again, this is one of the few nets where your check-in does count, so definitely post it. Getting started for the end of the month. We'll start off as usual with the phases of the moon. Actually, I'll start off with the last two. We had a new moon back on the 18th. It had a first quarter moon on the 25th. So it's rapidly approaching a full moon at, let's see, beginning of next week. So look for that nice waxing gibbous moon the next several days, which is going to be a little bit more difficult to spot the dimmer objects. The moon was at perigee, its closest approach to this month of excuse me, its The moon's closest approach to the Earth back on the 1st, it was 223,910 miles from Earth. The moon was at apogee, its farthest point away from the Earth this month. Back on the 13th, it was 251,928 miles from Earth. The moon will be at perigee again, but not quite as close as on the 1st, on the 29th. It will be 227,341 miles from Earth. Planetary highlights for January. Saturn is on display in the early evening sky this month, along with Uranus and Neptune, both within reach of binoculars. Jupiter dominates the night, reaching opposition back on the 10th. The gas giant is the prime target for the month. The long winter nights offer lots of time to enjoy the view. Mercury continues its year-end showing through the new year, visible in the morning sky for a brief time. Okay, Mercury was at superior conjunction. Oops, so I'm going to let this thing restart and then start that over. Mercury was at superior conjunction back on the 1st. That means it was on the opposite side of the sun than we are. After conjunction, Mercury has returned to the evening sky, setting about 5:56 p.m. by month's end. So it's going to be very, very low to the west. Very soon after sunset, and right now it's very difficult to spot. You might get a glimpse of it during the last day or two of January. It'll be better for sure in the first week of February. Mercury moves from the constellation of Sagittarius into Capricorn, shining at magnitude minus 0.6. Actually, it's dimmed. It's actually brightened a little bit. It's minus 1.3 for a magnitude right now. So it's going to try to burn right through the evening twilight. So you might be able to see it, but you'll have to catch it quick. Quick tutorial on magnitudes. The magnitude scale is an inverse logarithmic scale, meaning as the magnitude increases, an object's apparent brightness decreases by a factor of about 2.5. The dimmest object that the human eye can see is about 6th magnitude. So a magnitude 5 object is 2.5 times brighter than a magnitude 6 object, while a magnitude 7 object is 2.5 times dimmer, and you will definitely need a telescope or binoculars to see anything dimmer or greater than a 6th magnitude. For those of us who live in the city, we're looking at 4th magnitude for naked eye viewing. And you'll definitely need some binoculars or a telescope to see, to cut through the city brightness, I should say, for sure. Venus was at superior conjunction back on the 6th. After conjunction, Venus has returned to the evening sky, setting about 5:48 p.m. by month's end. So it's taken a little bit, it's going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be, setting a little bit earlier than Mercury by the end of the month. So right now it's a little bit lower. So Venus, again, is going to be difficult to spot. As well, maybe 30 minutes after sunset during the last 2 weeks of the month. So you might be able to see Venus. Venus moves from the constellation, well, actually it is now in the constellation of Capricorn, shining at magnitude minus 3.9. And for the Earth was at perihelion, its closest approach to the sun back on the 3rd. It was 91.4 million miles away. Mars was in conjunction with the sun back on the 9th. After conjunction, Mars is returned to the morning sky, rising about 6:57 a.m. by month's end. I'll look for Mars low to the east in the morning about 30 minutes before sunrise during the last 2 weeks of the month. Another challenge to see through the morning twilight glow. Mars moves from the constellation of Sagittarius. Actually, that is in Capricornus as well. I'm just looking at my charts here. All right, yeah. So you got Mercury, Venus in the evening in the constellation of Capricornus, while Mars is in Capricornus on the opposite side in the AM hours. That puts the Sun smack dab in the constellation of Capricornus as well, right in between Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And Mars is shining around magnitude 1.1. And we got Jupiter at opposition on the 10th, rising as the sun sets. Jupiter is rising about 3 p.m. by the end of the month and is visible towards the east in the early evening hours. If you're out there for a walk soon after sunset, you'll see Jupiter, very bright, about 20 degrees above the eastern horizon up there. It'll be the first object you'll see in the evening sky. Jupiter's in the constellation of Gemini, shining at magnitude minus 2.6. And we got Saturn. Let's see, Saturn is setting about 9 p.m. by month's end. Look for Saturn to the southwest in the evening sky soon after sunset. Saturn moves from the constellation of Aquarius. Actually, it's in Pisces right now, shining at magnitude 1.0. So Saturn is just 1/10 of a magnitude brighter than Mars. But Saturn will be easier to spot in the evening sky for sure. And then we have Uranus. Uranus right now is setting about 2:05 a.m. by month's end. Look for Uranus to the south in the evening. Uranus is in the constellation of Taurus, shining at magnitude 5.6. And we got Neptune on the heels of Saturn right now, setting about 9:12 p.m. by month's end. Look for Neptune to the southwest in the evening, following Saturn by just a few minutes all month. Neptune is in the constellation of Pisces, shining at magnitude 7.8. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net, continuing. All right, we got Ceres. Ceres is setting about 10:20 p.m. By month's end. Ceres can be spotted low to the southwest, just below and east of Saturn and Neptune. Ceres is in the constellation of Cetus, shining at magnitude 9.0. And then we got Pluto, was in conjunction with the Sun on the 23rd. So after conjunction, Pluto has returned to the morning sky, rising about 6:58 a.m. by month's end. Pluto is definitely lost in the Sun's twilight glow all month and is not visible. Pluto is in the constellation of Capricornus, shining at magnitude 15.2. The early twilight is much, much brighter than magnitude 15.2. We'll have to wait a little while for Pluto to get well above the eastern horizon in the early AM hours, so probably we're not going to see much of Pluto in February for sure. It's going to take a while for it to rise up. Meteor showers. The Quadrantids meteor shower was active during the beginning of the month, or end of last month, December 28th through January 7th, and peaked back on the 3rd. However, on any dark night and dark skies, you might see a meteor streaking through the skies if you're lucky. But definitely bundle up for that. Comets. We have a couple of comets. We got Comet 24P Shamas rises just before midnight, passing through the constellation of Coma Berenices, Virgo, and Bootes in the early morning hours before dawn. Comet Shamas rises around, shines around 8th magnitude, but may dim to about 12th magnitude by month's end, making it much more difficult to spot. And right now, it's in the constellation of Bootes. In the early morning hours, so you'll definitely have to wait until the moon sets to be able to spot that comet for sure. We have Comet C 2004 E1 Wirchos is visible for observers south of the equator this month, rising in the evening twilight after mid-month. So now's the time for those southern hemisphere observers to get out there and see if you can spot a naked eye comet. It reached perihelion back on the 20th and may brighten to greater than 5th magnitude. And that's it for the local astronomical news. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go ahead and acknowledge Mark, KF0VXO. Thanks for checking in tonight, Mark, over on YouTube, so thanks for that. I'll pause here before I get into the bulletins. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Kilo 3 X-ray Oscar, K3 X-ray Oscar, Ripon, West Virginia.
And good evening to you, Rip, K3XO. Thanks for checking in tonight. Let's see. Bulletins for this evening. Start off with ISS passes over the Denver area. We had an earlier pass over Denver, about 6:35 p.m. It was. I have no idea. I was in the midst of eating dinner at the time. But I like to check this website, www.heavens-above.com. That's www.heavens-above.com. One reason I like about this website is if I can get a nice list of visible ISS passes over the area. Also, it has a radio button where I can select all the passes over the area, your particular area as well. But right now I'm more interested in the visible passes. We got a decent pass coming up on the 30th over Denver at 5:52 p.m. The ISS travels from the northwest to the southeast, peaking about 80 degrees above the southwest horizon, so a nearly overhead pass. The one thing I like about this particular site is if I click on a particular pass, I can get a nice 8.5 by 11 or a fairly large star chart to show me the path. And right now, the one that I'm displaying over on YouTube, it's passing through Cygnus and the constellation of Cygnus right through the middle of it. To begin with, the constellation of Lacerta, Andromeda, Triangulum, the midpoint of Taurus, fairly close to the Pleiades, just below Orion, and then you see it disappearing towards the east. So you can see on that particular chart where the ISS is expected to be and the timings along the route as well. I do recommend that you sign up for, let the thing just see, just a sec. And for those of you who are on YouTube, you can see in the upper right my login and my particular location. And the time there I've set for your particular time zone, and so you can get the decent timings. You can put in your latitude and longitude for your location and get much better, much more accurate timings for these particular passes. It also has a lot more than just ISS passes. You can check out the website. Again, that website, www.heavens-above.com. And that's it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Okay, for the bulletin for this evening, this is actually I found two articles that I wanted to share. And I was deciding which one to share with you guys tonight. One was about Amazon's internet beaming satellites are bright enough to disrupt astronomical viewing. So. Actually, astronomical research. I was going to do that, but that seems more like a complainy type object. So, yeah, Moy, you should get that same pass. There you go. Oh, yeah, that's on the 30th. But I found one that's near and dear to my heart. Way back when I first got my 8-inch Celestron back in 1980, the first deep sky object I looked at was the Ring Nebula. It's always been a favorite of mine. It's always been a challenge to find sometimes as well. It wasn't the Orion Nebula or anything, the Crab Nebula or stuff like that. The first, or the Andromeda Galaxy, it happened to be the Ring Nebula. And I actually used that on my QSL cards. So, recent advances in technology have definitely made it an even more interesting object than it was before. So this is object, excuse me. This article is from Earth Sky, dated January 27th. And I'll get into it in just a sec. Okay, Matt, we got you on the list, so thanks for that. KE0LNU, thanks for checking in. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the YouTube chat as well as NetLogger, and I'll see if you come in. Oh, there's David, we got you on the list. WE8M, thanks for that. I keep an eye on NetLogger as well. All right. Here's the article. Iconic ring nebula holds a mysterious iron bar, study finds. Astronomers at University College London, UCL, and Cardiff University have discovered a mysterious bar-shaped cloud of iron inside the iconic Ring Nebula. The cloud of iron atoms, described for the first time in monthly notices of Royal Astronomical Society, or RAS, on January 16, 2026, is in the shape of a bar or strip and just fits inside the inner layer of the oval-shaped nebula. The bar's length is roughly 500 times that of Pluto's orbit around the Sun, and its mass is comparable to that of Mars. How did it form? It's a mystery, the astronomers say. Discovering a hidden cloud in the Ring Nebula. The French astronomer Charles Messier was the first to spot the Ring Nebula in 1779, lying in the northern constellation of Lyra the Harp. It's a colorful shell of gas thrown off by a star as it ends the nuclear fuel-burning phase of its life. Our own sun will expel its outer layers in a similar way in a few billion years' time. Researchers discovered the iron cloud using the Large Integral Field Unit, or LIFU, L-I-F-U, mode of a new instrument, the WHT Enhanced Area Velocity Explorer, or WEAVE, W-E-A-V-E, installed on the Isaac Newton Group's 5.2 meter or 13.7 foot William Herschel telescope. The LIFU is a bundle of hundreds of optical fibers. It has enabled the team of astronomers to obtain spectra where light is separated into its constituent wavelengths at every point across the entire face of the Ring Nebula, and at all optical wavelengths for the first time. Lead author Dr. Roger Wesson, based jointly at UCL and Cardiff University, said, "Even though the Ring Nebula has been studied using many different telescopes and instruments, WEAVE has allowed us to observe it in a new way, providing so much more detail than before. By obtaining a spectrum continuously across the whole nebula, we can create images of the nebula at any wavelength and determine its chemical composition at any position. When we processed the data and scrolled through the images, one thing popped out as clear as anything: this previously unknown bar of ionized iron atoms in the middle of the familiar and iconic ring." What created this iron bar? How the iron bar formed is currently a mystery, said the authors say. They will need further, more detailed observations to unravel what is going on. There are two potential scenarios. Firstly, the iron bar may reveal something new about how the ejection of the nebula by the parent star progressed, or, more intriguingly, the iron might be an arc of plasma resulting from the vaporization of a rocky planet caught up in the star's earlier expansion. Co-author Professor Janet Drew, also based at UCL, said, "We definitely need to know more, particularly whether any other chemical elements coexist with the newly detected iron, as this would probably tell us the right class of model to pursue. Right now, we are missing this important information." The team is working on a follow-up study and plans to obtain data using Weave's LIFU at higher resolution to better understand how the bar might have formed. More to learn. Weave is carrying out 8 surveys over the next 5 years, targeting everything from nearby white dwarfs to very distant galaxies. The stellar, circumstellar, and interstellar physics strand of the Weave survey is observing many more similar ionized nebula across the northern Milky Way. Dr. Wesson explained, it would be very surprising if the iron bar in the ring is unique. So hopefully, as we observe and analyze more nebula created in the same way, we will discover more examples of this phenomenon, which will help us to understand where the iron comes from. Professor Scott Traeger, Weave project scientist based at the University of Groningen, added, the discovery of this fascinating, previously unknown structure in a night sky jewel beloved by sky watchers across the northern hemisphere demonstrates the amazing capabilities of Weave. We look forward to many more discoveries from this new instrument. And that is it for that bulletin. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. And let's see, that is the bulletins for this evening. I'm going to call on Ed, W6RDZ, for tonight's rocket report. W6RDZ, I know you're on the analog side tonight, and I am on the WiresX digital side. I want to see if I can hear you or if I have to switch frequencies. Give me a shout out there, Ed, W6RDZ, go ahead.
Ernest, good evening to the net. Ernest, I'm reading you loud and clear. We had one episode of some kind of feedback loop. I don't know what that was about. A little broken, but otherwise, probably sounded to you. W6RDZ, back to net.
All right, Ed, a little bit broken on my receive side. I flipped it over to the analog, and you sounded a little bit clearer. So what I'm going to do, and Jack is out there monitoring, so he can keep an ear out as well for any anomalies. Let's see, I'm just getting a few more. Oops, where we go? Yeah, Abraham, we got you on the list, KF0MLS over on YouTube, so thanks for that. I'm just going to pass this along before I get over to you, Ed, there just a sec. Mark out in Crook mentioned over there on the YouTube, love the net, by the way. Encouraged me to get a telescope for the kids and get more involved with astronomy. Loads of great knowledge. All right, there we go. So there we go. I don't know if that's a good influence or a bad influence. Hopefully it's a good influence on everybody, going out there and getting scopes and looking at the night sky and sharing it with the kids. I love to share astronomy with the kids for sure, and with you guys as well. Ed, please proceed with the the rocket report for this evening. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
All right, Bernard, let's get into it. We've got some real interesting news stories tonight. We'll get through the launches first. This is looking back a week ago to the 20th, last week's launches. Let's see. We had 4 orbital launch attempts and 1 Blue Origin suborbital cruise flight last week. 2 of them SpaceX, 2 Rocket Lab, 1 Blue Origin. On Wednesday, January 21st at 22:47 Mountain Standard Time, SpaceX flawlessly launched Starlink Group 17-30 on a Falcon 9 from Slick 4C, Vandenberg Space Force Base, California. Booster 1093 lofted a payload into orbit for the 10th time. 25 Starlinks reached Starlink mega constellation in low Earth orbit. Second flight was on Thursday. Scroll one line too far. January 22nd. That was at 3:53. Rocket Lab launched as planned the Cosmos Will See You Now mission. That on an Electron Curie rocket from the Haya Peninsula in New Zealand. The mission lost in the first 2 satellites of Open Cosmos' secure LEO broadband constellation. The communication satellites use high priority Ka-band spectrum to provide independent and resilient internet communications for Europe and the Principality of Liechtenstein. Thursday, January 22nd at 9:25 Mountain Standard Time, we had W6RD back to net. Did I drop out there?
You did, you did, Ed. You dropped out for almost, well, 30 seconds or so. You were in the midst of the second one, I do believe. I don't have the rocket report to follow along with, so I can't tell you exactly where you dropped off. But yeah, we lost you for a sec. Please go ahead. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
Hey, Bryce, when you get a second, let's go for a break for just a minute. Let me do a reset on something.
Ed, can you stand by? We're going to go for a reset. Jack wants to do a reset. So this is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Go ahead, Jack.
Stand by. It's going to take about 30 seconds to a minute. Stand by.
All right, those of you who are on YouTube, good evening. If you're new to the Colorado Astronomy Net, definitely like to see a name over there. If you or just say hey over in the chat, and I'll welcome you in. I do record all the check-ins that pop over there that I do see on the chat.
Question for you. What are you, repeater are you on, and what radio are you using?
Copy the question. I am on analog, hitting you through the squaw mountain repeater.
Okay, and what radio are you using? What radio are you using? A hand base rig? What are you using? Because you're definitely snap, crackling, and pop just about pretty much all the time, and I'm hearing you. I'm also on 449, 450. I've been trying to track that down forever. Just not full quieting, strong into the repeater. Where are you located? And again, what kind of radio are you using?
I'm using a ASO. It looks like I'm putting out about 20 watts on a ASO on high power. It's a mobile radio used as a base. Back to you, W6RD Net.
Okay, and once again, where are you located, sir? Where are you located?
Roger, sorry about that. I'm in Broomfield. Broomfield.
Okay, well, your signal and it's your carrier is definitely not full quieting, solid into the repeater. You almost always have a little bit of noise and snap, crackle, pop on there. Bernice, would you concur? KI0AR from K0VH, and it looks like the digital link is back.
Yeah, Jack, I concur. I hopped over to the analog to monitor you both as well. Yeah, he's where is he? 287, Broomfield area, and 36, thereabouts. I pulled up his location on QRZ, so that's the big intersection, and. Yeah, I think Ed, you're in an apartment as well, so that could be part of it, as well as signals bouncing around, or maybe close enough to the hills to cause some, not quite getting up there as well as it should. Maybe a little bit of a shadow of the repeater there. That's possible. This is KI0AR.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. Okay, that makes a little sense. I've actually been trying to track that for a while, have not really been able to make a lot of heads or tails out of it. So very good. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Just part of the diagnostic process here. We'll see if things continue to link all right at this point. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Ed. Go ahead and continue on with your rocket report, I guess, here. This is K0VH.
Thank you, KE0VH. Let's try this one more time. Is this transmission any better? Am I any stronger into the repeater now that I've made an adjustment?
Yeah, that's actually much better. Actually, much better.
All right, good to know. W6RD application I get after all these years. But it was fully charged going in and just has no capacity. So I've switched over to another 12 volt. I'm going to go to Burnett here for just for a sec to see if we're all ready to finish the rocket report.
Yeah, Ed, you're still, there's still some little crackle in there. It's a little bit better. I would try to power that radio off a power supply, just so that you have a steady shore power, especially when doing the net stuff here. Anyway, thank you. We'll let you go ahead. Go ahead, Burness, KI0AR K0VH.
All right, Jack. Thanks for monitoring and keeping up and the reset there. I may as well shoot. Right now, I'm going to leave it here so I can monitor Ed's transmissions as well. But yeah, go ahead, Ed. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net.
All right, this is W6RDZ, your rocket man. I'm going to try this rocket report again. I'm going to guess we got through Rocket Lab's launches. Their first launch, that was successful on Thursday. And then later in that day, we're going to move ahead to the third launch on Thursday, January 22nd, 9:25 Mountain Standard. After a couple of significant holds, Blue Origin launched MS-38 on a New Shepard rocket. That departing Launch Site 1 in West Texas. This launch was another suborbital tourist hop. The 17th human flight for New Shepard. It carried 6 passengers on a 10-minute flight. Going now to the fourth launch of the week, Sunday, January 25th at 18:17 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX effortlessly launched the Starlink Group 17-20 mission on a Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base. The workhorse Falcon 9 placed 25 Starlink B-2 minis into sun-synchronous orbit. It was booster 1097's sixth launch and recovery, following a record 14-day turnaround. It was the 10th SpaceX mission of 2026. Then we're going to look to this afternoon. They got one off here Tuesday, January 27th at 17:55. Rocket Lab closely launched the Bridging the Swarm mission on Electron Curie rocket from the Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand. The payload is the -1A. I'm going to reset the repeater there. W6RDZ back with tonight's rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Yes, this was an Electron Curie rocket launching off the Mahia Peninsula, New Zealand. The payload was the NeonSat 1A, a high-resolution optical Earth observation satellite for South Korea. That headed to sun-synchronous orbit. It was the second Rocket Lab Electron launch of 2026 and the 20th overall mission of 2026. Yeah. Let's see. That brings us to, we're looking at perhaps 7 orbital launches coming up in the next week. Later this evening here in a little bit, Tuesday, January 26th at 21:38 Mountain Standard Time, SpaceX is scheduled to launch the GPS-3 SVO-9 mission on a Falcon 9 from Slick 40 Cape Canaveral in Florida on a to medium Earth orbit. This is a third generation global positioning satellite manufactured by Lockheed Martin and operated by the U.S. Space Force. The second launch coming up will be on Thursday, the 29th at 8:17 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX is docketed
All right, moving ahead here with W6RDZ, the rocket report. Later in the week, China rocket is believed to be rescheduling the launch of an undisclosed payload on a Xilong 3 rocket from the Haidian Oriental Space Force Center in South China Sea. No specific launch day or time has yet been disclosed. Fifth launch on Saturday, February 1st at 16:04 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX plans to launch Starlink Group 6-103 from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral, Florida. That, of course, on a Falcon 9. Fifth launch of the week coming up. Specified date and time this week. China Aerospace and Science Corporation hopes to launch an undisclosed payload on a Long March 7A rocket from LC-20201 at the Wenchang Space Launch Site in China. And the last one, I think, no, we got more than that. Number 6, SpaceX intends to launch Starlink Group 103 on a Falcon 9 from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral on Sunday, February 1st at 16:04 Mountain Standard Time. There we go. There's the last one. Launch 7 on Monday, February 2nd at 8:17 Mountain Standard Time. SpaceX expects to launch Starlink Group 17-32 from Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Launch Center, California. I'm going to break there to the news items. Reset to the review. All right. First article first item, I should say, is Artemis 2. We're going back to the moon. All right. NASA continues to progress towards the first manned space flight to the moon in 50 years. They're currently on track for a launch on Friday, February 6th at 19:14 Mountain Standard Time. The 10-day mission will be the first time humans have left low Earth orbit or crossed the Van Allen radiation belt and traveled in the vicinity of the moon since Apollo 17 in December of 1972. Artemis and Orion capsules will carry the crew to travel on a free return trajectory, making one loop around the moon with no landing. This trajectory, after the near-Earth translunar injection, requires no propulsion, using only the moon and Earth's gravity to return back to Earth. The mission will carry a crew of 4 NASA astronauts, Reed Weissman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, around the moon. As blogger Scott Manley astutely observes, Orion is the largest space capsule ever flown and the first trip to the moon with a toilet. Check out the link below for in the e-report for Scott's YouTube video where he flushes out all the details. Artemis 2 rolled out to the pad on December 17th and has been in preparation for launch. Peter there. W6RDZ back with the rocket report. All right, we are looking here. Artemis 2, she rolled out to the pad on December 17th and been in preparation. The next launch hurdle for the rocket is the wet dress or fully fueled launch rehearsal on Saturday, January 31st. If that all goes well, a launch to the moon could happen as soon as February 6th, week after next. The launch window is currently scheduled to open from LC-39B Kennedy Space Center, Florida, no earlier than Friday, 14th at 1941 Mountain Standard Time. If issues arise, the mission can be scrubbed or delayed to February 7th, 8th, 10th, or 11th, and then again on March 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th, or April 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. All right, we've got some links there in the e-report that you can follow for more information. All right, quick Starship update here. Elon says it's going to be 6 weeks until the launch. SpaceX continues its preparations at Starbase Boca Chica, Texas, for Starship Test Flight 12, both on the Starship and preparations of the new launch pad. Ship 39 slated to launch top booster 19 with much anticipated of the first Starship 3 variant. Say repeater there. W6 RDZ. All right, W6RDC back with the rocket report for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Let's see. Test article 13.1 experienced a structural failure during a load test. The version 3 test methane tank buckled under load, but the tank was not pressurized, so the anomaly is not expected to delay the launch. It's unclear if it was an intentional test of failure or just a testing accident. The failure was of a test article, to be clear here, not the booster that's going to fly. All right. Third article, January 19th, the damaged empty Shenzhou 20 capsule returned from the Chinese space station. This is a spacecraft with the cracked windshield. It was cracked by space debris that briefly stranded Chinese crew on the Tianhong space station. The crew returned safely to the Gobi Desert November 5th, riding the Shenzhou 21 spacecraft. Now, technicians can examine the space debris damaged window and the spacecraft. All right. Now, fourth one here, last one, is failure analysis on Japan's H3 launch failure. Carbon composite fiber pedestal adapter had failed. Japan's H3 rocket is Japan's latest medium-lift two-stage launch vehicle. Back on December 22nd, you might recall, the H3 launched and failed to place its Miki navigation satellite into orbit. I think it was geostationary transfer orbit. We're going to reset the repeater. W6RDZ back with the rocket report. It was initially thought to have failed because of second stage pressurization and ignition issues. The second stage burn took longer than expected but failed to reach orbit. The second stage burn took longer than expected and then failed to ignite for its second burn and then failed to reach orbit. The detailed about the satellite as far as it could. Follow the link below for Scott Manley's usual excellent analysis. Well, that's it for tonight's Rocket Report. W6REZ, Rocket Man Ed wishes you a good night and phenomenal flight. Now, back to September and KI0AR net control for Colorado Astronomy.
All right, Ed, thanks for the Colorado, what is it? Excuse me. Thanks for the rocket report this evening, Ed. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. I'll go ahead and pause here before we go down the list. Anyone else wishing to check into tonight's Colorado Astronomy Net, please call with your call sign phonetically twice.
Kilo Oscar 4 Charlie X-ray. Kilo Oscar 4 Whiskey Charlie X-ray. Call in North Carolina. Kilo Mike 7 Charlie Charlie Uniform. Lansing Spokane. Kilo Mike Charlie. Kilo Mike 7 Charlie Charlie Uniform. Apologize for that.
Okay, let's see. I want to get Robert. Robert checked in, saw his call sign up on NetLogger there. AA5AH, thanks for checking in tonight. Paul, KO4WCX, thanks for checking in tonight. And Lance, KM7CCU, thanks for checking in tonight. All right, now's the time for everyone else to contribute to the net. Questions, comments, observation reports, anything you'd like to pass along to the net, now's the time to do it. First on the list tonight is Jack, KE0VH. Good evening to you, Jack. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, British glad we got some things settled up there. Working all this time too. I have the DC up in the air doing a little test flight here in the new Microsoft 2024 City. Tomorrow night, we're going to fly the DC-3 out of Medford, Oregon. We're going to fly up the Meteor Crater and do some sightseeing, and we're going to land in Klamath Falls. So anyway, we'll be doing some DC-10 ops tonight in Camp Flight Sim on the live stream. Which I some of the Aurora last week, but I did not get a chance to do that. Hopefully some other folks did. But anyway, very straight. That's the story for this evening. We'll catch back up with you a little later, and thanks everybody for your patience while we dealt with a couple of issues here. Back to that. KE0VH. Step 3, Ernest.
All right, Jack. Yeah, we talked a little bit about last week's auroral activity, or lack thereof, but I noticed on spaceweather.com that some of that auroral activity was blue. What we saw in the last auroras back in November were green and red. Blue was an unusual color to see for aurora, and I think there's some pictures on the spaceweather.com if you want to check that out. All right, Jack. Yeah, looking forward to joining you on your flight tomorrow in the DC-3 there, so that should be fun. Got a close-up look. Fly around inside the crater. There you go. But yeah, I wonder what you can do close up with that for sure. All right, Jack, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you sharing that with us. Appreciate the monitoring that tonight and getting some things fixed as well. So all of that, appreciate it. So thanks for checking in tonight. Next on the list is Ken out in Nevada, NV7SS. Good evening to you, Ken. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Oh, I know Ken's out there somewhere. He must be monitoring for right now. We'll check by that. We'll open up the net a little bit later on. Next on the list is Doug, K0ATP. Good evening to you, Doug, out in Parker. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Thank you, Curtis, and Ned K0ATP here. Well, I haven't had my telescope out because it's been too cold, but the warmer days it's been not very suitable for astronomical observations. But my son, who lives out in Southern California, was actually out on San Nicolas Island doing a commercial dive job out there. They did have some overcast skies in south of San Diego, really got some great shots, and they saw a lot of reds and oranges and so on. So can't wait to get the telescope out and start doing some celestial photography, and that's what we've going on here. So thank you very much for the rocket report and all that you do for the net. And I'll pass it back to Net Control, K0ATP. 70.
All right, Doug, thanks for sharing that with us. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. It is unusual to see the aurora this far south for sure, and I don't think they made it last week for sure. Next on the list is Jay up in Wyoming, AI7OF. Good evening to you, Jay. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
I don't have any astronomical net observation to report. I'm here to make sure that is working. So, making sure the radio waves are AI7OF. Thank you for this.
All right, Jay, I'm glad you're up there making sure all the radio waves are aligned with Wyoming tonight. Yeah, I haven't done too much observing myself. It's been a little bit too chilly. All right, Jay, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Mike over on YouTube. This goes for all of you guys that are listening in over on YouTube. If you've got anything you'd like to pass along to the net, and you can't do it over the radio, just post it over there in the chat window, and I will relay it to the group. So I do appreciate that. Any observations you've been making, or any news or other comments or questions, you just post them over in the chat window there, and I'll pass that along. Mike, K05AOK, appreciate you checking in via YouTube. Next on the list is Roy up in Oregon, KI7PKL. Good evening to you, Roy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, everybody on the net. As you can probably hear, I'm with the pub. Oh, man, great easy verification. A couple weeks after quite a few things. I've upgraded to a monochrome camera and really good filter. And I think about 3 days. 3 days. My goal was to get something up, at least before this had, and I barely made it about 5 years with USA. But my first flight up this week here is the Hawaii Nebula. And when I hit there was, I took not only RGB, which is full color, but also narrowband data, which will change their oxygen 3, and stars in narrowband. So when you did with stars from the newspaper with everyone from the terrible bit. And anyway, I think I have a little more flying on that physics. But anyway, that's my first flight with here. So anyway, with that, we'll send it back to you. Yes, I'll see you.
All right, Roy, I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah, I'm taking a look at that image right now. Definitely neat of the Orion Nebula there. I can see a lot of detail in that for sure, that with the different filtering for sure. So thanks for sharing that. And who knows, I might borrow that for the newsletter since I got to work on that this weekend anyway. So appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight there, Roy. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Next on the list is Ed up in Broomfield, W6RDZ. Good evening to you, Ed. Again, thanks for the rocket report. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
Yeah, W6RDZ here. More for you. I did not get to see any of the auroras. Get any real reports of them coming in around. Maybe I missed something. But I was aware we were aurora active this week. But I was not able to get out and see them. That's all I have for you. Again, thanks for running the net. Thanks for the opportunity to contribute. W6RDZ.
All right, Ed, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Let's see, next on the list, Graham in Scotland, MM1DEA. I don't know if you're still hanging around or not, but go ahead, MM1DEA, go ahead. Yeah, I think he might have gone to bed already. For sure there. He usually ducks out. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning there. But I always appreciate him checking in from Scotland there. Next on the list, also on YouTube, Caleb, KF0UPB. I think I already mentioned what you did. You're up there listening in tonight, so I appreciate you checking in over there. If you got any questions or anything like that, post them over on YouTube. I'll pass them along. Next on the list is Moy down in Texas. N5 ZIQ. Good evening to you, Moy. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Let's see, next on the list, Mark out in Crook, KF0VXO. Same with you, Mark. I appreciated your comment over there on YouTube there, getting a scope for the kids and getting out there and learning. That's what we're all about here, is learning what's up in the skies and just having fun. Next on the list is Rip out in West Virginia, K3XO. Good evening to you, Rip. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Next on the list is Matthew out in Golden, also on YouTube, KE0LNU. Matthew, post anything you want to do over there. Enjoying the show. Okay, I see that. Anything else? Appreciate your checking in too and your comments as well. Next on the list, David up in Ohio, WE8M. Good evening to you, David. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead. Okay, half the list. Is this thing on? Abraham, also on YouTube, KF0MLS. Thanks for checking in tonight. Okay, I tried checking in over the air the last time I checked. Okay, well, there you go. Abraham, KF0MLS, and Sterling. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead.
I didn't see any of the aurora last week, but I did have a lot of friends get some good photos all around the country, so that was nice. And unfortunately, it caused some problems with HF, but that's okay. I'm just thank you for everything you do with this net, and I have no other traffic. Thank you very much. KF0 MLS.
All right, Abraham, appreciate you posting over on YouTube. So I know that I got several of you listening on the radio and watching on YouTube. So that works out great. So I do appreciate that and seeing comments either way. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Abraham, appreciate you comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Robert down in Texas, AA5AH. Good evening to you, Robert. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
I've been participating in the winter heat. Our local head close, we test our EHF and UHF radios and fusion, so it's been kind of fun, simplex. So I kind of got to this net kind of late tonight, but enjoy listening to you guys. You all have some real interesting stuff, so hopefully I'll check in earlier next week. AA5AH.
Hey, Robert, no worries. Just appreciate you checking in, that's for sure. Better late than never. That's the way I do. But appreciate your comments and appreciate you checking in tonight. Next on the list is Paul in North Carolina, KO4WCX. Good evening to you, Paul. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Good evening, Brandon. Good evening, everyone on the net. Not to report on the visual front. Winter's still preferred. It's left wet, cold, windy, and just much relevant for this discussion. Cloudy. Although it is clear tonight, very cold, not a big bright moon shining up. So there's no incentive to take the scopes out nor me. So maybe I'll have more to report next week. Stuff up there. See? Till then, I hope everyone has a quick stay warm, stay safe, and care for WCX at 7:30. Back to you, Curtis.
All right, Paul. Yeah, that big old ice storm that was through through last Sunday during the playoff game. on the East Coast, and we had a nice snowstorm over Denver. I looked at a weather map and saw that, yeah, the whole East Coast got slammed with winter weather, and then just a little spot over Denver. A few little trickles here and there, but that was the big stuff. So definitely, yeah, definitely stay dry, stay warm, and stay safe for sure for this winter weather there. Paul, appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. Ken, we'll get to you in just a sec. Lance, next on the list. Lance up in Washington. KM7CCU. Good evening to you, Lance. What have you got for the net tonight? Go ahead.
Well, first off, I got to put this net in my calendar because I don't usually look up higher than certain aircraft making noise above my head. But I find this interesting, and I missed all the aurora because we were socked in with clouds and fog the whole time. But I actually had a question. And if it's going to take too long for this net and you want to cover it some other time, I'll try to tune back in at another date. But with all the planets that were in alignment not too long ago, and I'm very ignorant when it comes to this stuff, so bear with me. The planets all in a line, and the sun on its maximum, and all the craziness that's been going on with the sun. Do you correlate some of those I don't know, the 6 or 7 5-point something earthquakes in the southern hemisphere to any of that?
Oh, the very, very short answer is no. The planets have very, very little influence, no matter where they are in their orbit, with the gravitational pull on the Earth. We're talking, even Jupiter, 1/1,000,000th, if that, or that of the sun. The sun is the biggest contributor, along with the moon, of course, affecting the tides and things like that. The sun and the moon are going to have, well, probably the moon's going to have more effect even than the sun. The sun's that we just just keeps us in orbit, keeps us spinning around. And obviously you see with the moon pulling the tides one way or another. So it's always, excuse me, it's pulling the Earth as well. But no, that's mostly internal Earth workings, tectonic movements and things like that. So that's what's going to really contribute to earthquakes and such. The other planets being on the opposite side of the sun, or even on this side of the sun, are going to have very negligible influence on how they affect Earth and Earth's gravity and the pull on Earth. So there you go.
Well, beautiful. Well, thank you for that. Like I said, this is definitely not my expertise, but that question's been on my brain for a little while. But anyway, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. KM7CCU, I'll be clear on your final.
All right, Lance. Yeah, it's good for movies. It's good for those blockbuster movies, but not in real life. All right, Lance. Appreciate the question. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate you checking in tonight. Let's see. We're going to go back up to Ken. NV7SS is back online with us. Good evening to you, Ken, out in Nevada. What have you got for us tonight? Go ahead, Ken.
Well, I thank you for coming back to me there, Burnus, NB7SS, here in Indian Springs, Nevada, where it's too cold to be outside doing observations of the sky there, Burnus. It's, well, right now it's warmer than it's been at night. It's 33 degrees, but it's been down in the teens. So it's just a little bit too cold out there. But hey, I was reading an article on the web today. I just wondered if you heard anything about anything like this. So back in the Apollo days when they were landing on the moon, one of the lunar modules, I forget which one it was. I think it was Apollo 12, maybe it was 14. I'm not sure. When they ejected it, it started getting a little erratic, and they had to fire up the engine remotely and get it away from them, so it took off into space and toward the sun, but it didn't have enough fuel left in the lunar module there to do anything. But anyway, they say they found it. They say they found it in an orbit, and they think they found it anyway, and that might be what it is. And I thought it was kind of interesting how, well, that would be neat if they found it and could go up and take pictures of it or whatever, you know, with some kind of remote chip or something. I think that would be pretty cool. But have you ever heard anything about that? Thank you, Burnus.
No, I haven't. I'm just looking to see what's readily available on a quick search if we're not sure. Studies of Eagle estimated orbital trajectory have suggested that the spacecraft may still be in orbit as of 2021. Maybe that's what it was. From the studies of Eagle, which was Apollo 13's thing. So there was a quick blurb there. So I'm just looking through. So let's see, April of last orbiting, let's see, NASA spacecraft spotted something weird orbiting the moon. There's just a quick scan. So no, I hadn't heard, but quick searches saying there may be something up there somewhere. There's a lot of stuff up there still orbiting. Or has crashed into the moon over the years too. So, thanks for sharing that, and we'll keep looking for something. Let's say somewhere lunar craft found on orbit somewhere around 2022. So, possible. There you go.
Okay, yeah, Burnus. I just looked and it's on YouTube. There's a YouTube video about it. You might scan that and check that out.
So, right, we'll do that. Yeah, there's a lot of good. Just a word of warning, though. Take some of the YouTube videos with a grain of salt. Not everything is what it seems. It could be that, but yeah, there are some interesting stuff on YouTube for sure. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. And make sure verify the sources and make sure that we're not looking at the same source repeated several times. That's one of those intelligence things. Make sure that the articles or whatever you're searching for isn't just repeated with a few different words from the same source. If you can find different sources corroborating what you're finding, then it's more than likely more fact than fiction. So just be aware. And I'll definitely take a look and see if there's something like that. Or if you have the link, you can send that to me. Ken, no worries. KI0AR at KI0AR.com. All right, Ken, appreciate the question, appreciate your comments, and appreciate you checking in tonight. Yeah, today was warmer as well, in the 30s as opposed to the teens and single digits as well. So what we've had for a couple of days as well. So definitely stay warm. And we'll have to go look for those remote telescopes, and so they can go out in the weather and we can sit inside for sure. All right, Ken, appreciate your comments, appreciate you checking in tonight. This is KI0AR Net Control for the Colorado Astronomy Net. We are at the bottom of the list and have some more time. Anyone else? Before I shut down the net, questions, comments, late check-ins. Go ahead and open up the net. Anybody else? Questions, comments, late check-ins, please call KI0AR now. Okay, nothing heard. I guess I'm going to be closing the net just a few minutes early tonight, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'd like to thank the 18 check-ins tonight, a good group over on the air as well as on YouTube, so thanks for that. Hopefully we'll hear from everybody next Tuesday night for another session of the Colorado Astronomy Net at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 0200 Wednesdays. I'd like to thank the Rocky Mountain Radio League for the use of their repeater systems. Also like to thank the Sky-Hub Link group for the use of their system. And Jack, appreciate your help tonight as well. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. With that, I will say 73 and keep looking up. This is KI0AR. I'm clear.